happy to have a friend of mine in the industry, Chad Williams, join us. Chad's one of the most noteworthy entrepreneurs, I would argue, in our sector. Early days, he built up Victoria Gold and then was the founder of Red Cloud, which has grown into a very important company on the security side, media side, marketing side. Chad is also the non-executive chairman of Honey Badger Silver, and that's why he's joining us here today. Honey Badger has assets in Yukon, Northwest Territories, and in Nunavut. So we're going to be going up to Canada's far north, and I look forward to hearing what Chad's up to. Come on up, Chad, and give us the scoop.
So good morning. Good morning, everybody. I guess, is everybody as jet lagged as I am? I don't know. We're all on North America, at least I'm on North American time. But you know what? It's Honey Badger time now. It's time to wake up. Anthony, thank you very much for the invitation. It's my first time here, and it's very professional, very well done. And I must say, you look quite dapper as well. So I need to take some lessons on that. So yes, again, good morning, everybody. And we do not have any assets in Utah, by the way. So I don't know, maybe one day we will, and I'd love to have some assets generally in the U.S. But right now we're only in Canada. I just want to put that on the record, I guess. But before I talk about Honey Badger, I want to share a few stories. I can tell you that I love silver. In fact, I'm obsessed about silver. And it started when I was a little kid. I had a newspaper route, and back in the 80s, some of you, you may remember the Hunt brothers cornered the silver market. And I bought some silver ounces, and I bought low and did not sell high. And so, you know, as a kid, losing a lot of money, it was devastating. But of course, I used that as a lesson to figure out what happened, and it led to my career in mining. And I guess it all worked out, you know, in the end. But the other quick story I want to share with you, and not very many people are aware of this, but about 20 years ago, I was a mining analyst, to Anthony's point, a mining entrepreneur. I started a brokerage firm called Westwind. It doesn't exist anymore, but Westwind had a good run as well. And so I was sitting there at the Chateau Fairmont in Whistler. I had Bob Quartermain on my left, and I had Ian Telfer on my right. Bob Quartermain was running a company called Silver Standard. Silver Standard had a billion ounces of silver in the ground. And I was trying to raise money for Bob. And it was very difficult because institutional investors wouldn't invest because he had no cash flow. And then Ian Telfer had just come back from a mine visit. I went to see his project in Mazatlan, Lewisman, and he was producing, it was Wheaton River at the time. Neither Silver Standard nor Wheaton River exist anymore, but of course they've gone on to bigger and better things. But I went to Ian, I said, Ian, you know, you're producing a little bit of silver at Lewisman. Why don't you sell your silver to Bob Quartermain? And all of a sudden, Silver Standard would have silver cash flow. And both the guys, they went, that's a brilliant idea. And of course, that idea was the genesis of what is called silver streaming now. And what happened after a while, Ian Telfer decided he wasn't going to sell his silver to Bob Quartermain, but he spun it off as a silver royalty or silver streaming company, which went, you know, Wheaton Precious and, you know, became many billion-dollar business. But the point I'm trying to make is that I was trying to create in those days what Honey Badger will be, okay? It's very, very early days for Honey Badger. But to me, the ideal silver investment vehicle is a company that has silver ounces in the ground. So you've got leverage to silver. If the silver price rises, you've got upside. And on the other hand, it has cash flow from streams and royalties. So I tried to do that 20 years ago, and this is what I'm trying to do with Honey Badger right now. So Honey Badger is, in my mind, or will be, the ideal silver investment vehicle. We are not a mining company. Okay, there are 3,500 listed mining companies in the world, and we're not a mining company. We are, another way to look at it is we're an active ETF, okay? We are aggregating silver ounces, and eventually, when the silver prices rises to 100 or wherever it's going to go, our investors will benefit from the rise in the silver price. Now, I own 25% of Honey Badger, which is another unique, maybe not unique. Rob McCune, who I saw earlier, he's another investor that owns a lot of his companies. And to me, if I'm going to ask you to invest in my mining company, and if I don't own a lot, that would be not a very straightforward thing. But I do own a lot of it, so therefore I'm very comfortable in recommending this as an investment, okay? So let's talk a little bit about Honey Badger, the assets. Well, first of all, we're a tiny little company. Our market cap's under $10 million Canadian, so we're really small. In terms of people, to Anthony's point, I've been doing this for a long time. I was an analyst. I ran a mining company called Victoria Gold, and I left about 13 years ago to found, I'm the founder of a mining firm, mining financial firm called Red Cloud. All we do is finance and help little mining companies grow. And Red Cloud is very solid and will continue to grow. It's a great story. We have a great team at Red Cloud. So Dusty is our CEO at Honey Badger. Dusty went to MIT when he was 16. Dusty is brilliant. He's a very, very smart geologist. And if you just, it doesn't matter what country, if you say, just pick a random country, like I'm going to say Tajikistan, Dusty will say, well, I was there in the 60s. He's been everywhere. He's done everything in the mining business, and he's a very good man. On our board, some names that you might know, John Hill, he was a mining analyst at JP Morgan, and George Topping was a mining analyst for a long time in Canada. Brian Briggs is an American mining engineer. Stephen Kibsey, he's the world's leading expert on mining ESG. He teaches a course, he's a mentor of mine and teaches a course at Concordia in Montreal. And Mike Jalonen, many of you know Mike. Mike was the #1 ranked mining analyst in the world for a long time. Mike is a brilliant man. Okay, so we have 7 silver assets. All of them are located in Canada. And as of today, we have 40 million ounces of silver and almost 2 billion pounds of zinc. This cost, so we've been working on this for the past few years. Oh, and by the way, one of my favorite quotes is from a hockey player called Wayne Gretzky. All of you know Wayne Gretzky. When Gretzky was a kid, what he would do with his father, he would watch hockey games and he would plot where the puck is on a piece of paper with a pencil. And then he discovered that there are focus points or areas where the puck, because of the shape of the rink, where the puck goes more often. And his famous quote is, "Good players go where the puck is, great players go where the puck is going to be." And, we've been working on this for the last 2-3 years, anticipating a rise in silver. And in my opinion, we've just started that rise. And so we've acquired these 7 assets. It's cost us less than $1 million to put these together. We have an unusually large G&A amount relative to exploration because we don't do really any exploration. Why do exploration when we can buy silver ounces in the ground for less than 5 cents an ounce? When we were putting these assets, this company together, we had no competition. And, up until just a few weeks ago, we still don't have a lot of competition. There are new entrants now in the field, and people are starting to wake up to silver's potential. But I think we have a long ways to go. So all of these assets are high grade. They're in good jurisdictions. They're all in Canada. They're all, 3 of them, the ones that have resources, were explored and developed by other companies. The book value of these assets is well north of our market cap, and it's hard to actually quantify because the records aren't that great, but I estimate that the book value of our assets, in other words, the amount of money spent by others on our assets is close to $100 million. You know, I am the honey badger. That's a nickname one of my former girlfriends called. She wasn't very happy at me at the time, but you know, honey badgers are fearless and they tireless. And I would. Have you ever seen the video of honey? Have you ever seen that little video, "Honey Badger Don't Care"? Yeah, I won't put it on because it's a little bit controversial. But if you go to YouTube, "Honey Badger Don't Care," it's got over 100 million views. You'll find it kind of funny. So really, that's the story. If you like silver, then you're going to love honey badger. That's all I had. It's a very short presentation. We can go through the details of each of the assets, but I figure probably not the venue for that. And if you do want to go through the technical merits of each of these assets, we can do that after the show. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I'd like to get a little more on your thesis as to why silver. What's going to be driving the silver price going forward from here?
Okay, I mean, to me, silver, so why do I think silver is going to go to 100? And there are people who think, by the way, I should have mentioned that Eric Sprott's a shareholder, and Eric's a very strong supporter of what we're doing here. Eric, it's funny because when Eric and I speak, we all try to out-silver each other, if that's a term. You know, I say it's going to 100. He goes, that's ridiculous. It's going well past 300. Whatever the number is, it's going higher. Silver is a very unique metal. It is the most conductive metal in terms of electricity. It conducts heat as well. Of course, it's malleable. It reflects sunlight like no other metal, or light like no. So the unique characteristics of silver make it a very valuable metal. And you know, we can go into all kinds of conspiracy theories about, you know, the amount of paper or silver that's traded versus the actual silver metal. What is the actual silver deficit? All of these numbers, you know, if you talk to 10 people in the industry, you'd get 12 different opinions. The point I'm trying to make is it's a very nebulous market. However, I believe that because of its characteristics, it shares two different very valuable properties. One, for the technological attributes I just mentioned, and the other one, it's a financial instrument. It's a precious metal. And my personal view is that when silver starts to rise based on favorable supply-demand characteristics, higher solar panel consumption and so forth. It's used in all kinds of other technical applications. You know, the reason that Alexander the Great's soldiers kept the silver coin is they put that in water and they purify water. And that's why we have silver cutlery, right? Because silver has very specific characteristics. But more importantly, once the financial market starts to unravel at a greater rate than it is. And you know, the way these things go is it goes slowly until then it goes really fast. And I can't tell you when things will start to unravel, but if you look in detail about the personal indebtedness of individuals, the indebtedness of all of the countries in the world, you know, it's not going to end well. And people will gravitate to precious metals. And I think silver will benefit because it's not particularly expensive. You can buy an ounce of silver for, what, $35 an ounce? I think gold is amazing, and I love gold, and gold will do well as well. But I think gold is more for central banks and bigger, let's call them institutional buyers. I think silver will be bought by individuals, especially in the U.S., and it's important to mention that we're positioning honey badger as a meme stock. It's not a coincidence that, you know, the honey badger, it's an interesting animal, and And so we're going to do a lot of social media to appeal to U.S. retail investors. In essence, remember I mentioned Gretzky, go where the puck is going to be. I've created this investment vehicle for an anticipated future demand, and that demand is U.S. retail investors wanting a U.S. retail stock to invest in. And that's what we're hoping Honey Badger will appeal to.
Right. And Chad, you are chairman still of Red Cloud, chairman of Blue Thunder. In terms of your time allotment, you have a lot of demands on your time. Where's Honey Badger sit within that portfolio of companies?
Sure. Yeah. So I am, to Anthony's point, I am the chairman of Red Cloud. And I would say I'm more like to use the hockey analogy for those that are familiar, I'm the general manager up in the box overseeing things at a distance. I'm not behind the bench. I'm not on the ice scoring goals or taking elbows to the head, that's for sure. We have a great team of 75 people that work very hard every day. Quality people. So I observe, but I don't interfere. I've got a gold investment vehicle called Orbec, which used to be called Blue Thunder, but it's now called Orbec. We are 100% focused on the province of Quebec, which is interesting. I was happy to hear about that. The province of Quebec is a very good place to be.